Hello and a warm welcome to The Sweet Spot, your go-to golf tipping show brought to you by the Racing Post. Jack Reeve and Steve Palmer back this week to guide you through proceedings. So much to get through, a lot to look back on. Just the one tournament to preview this week, but plenty of discussion points from what was an eventful week last week, not only for the golfers out there, but for Steve Palmer. Steve, I'm sensing a slight air of disappointment. Am I reading the room correctly?
You are. I mean, I just thank the Lord that the four aces won the LIV Golf, because the Portugal Masters and the Bermuda Championship were a serious test of my mettle. I was on Gavin Green at very healthy prices in the Portugal Masters. He cards 27 under par for 72 holes. That's enough to win any of the previous Portugal Masters, but it's not enough to win this one. So I had to settle for the place money in the Portugal Masters. I'm on Harrison Endicott at enormous prices in the Bermuda Championship. I'm on each way for 8 places. He gets inside the top 8 on Sunday. Not many players left on the golf course. I'm very excited about the each way payout. Then Max McGreevy and Justin Lower make some late gains. Endicott finishes one shot shy of the top 8. And not only that, Seamus Power wins the title. Seamus Power, last name off the shortlist, top of the notorious others to note section of the Bermuda preview, went for 5 bigger price options instead, full of regret. So yeah, thank God for the four aces, because they salvaged some Sunday sanity for me.
Well, I know a lot of people do sort of dive into the others to note, so hopefully a lot of the readers and listeners may not have missed out. So that's good. Other than that, how's life treating you at the moment, Steve?
A little bit of a Halloween hangover, as we were discussing before the show. Yeah, I find Halloween really traumatic. I've got 2 young kids, get very excited about trick-or-treating. Last night, storms raging around South Dorset. So the storms were so bad that trees were getting thrown everywhere. I assumed that would mean a cancellation of trick-or-treat, but no. Out we went. And I just find that social situation of going out to a stranger's house, knocking on their door and saying we're going to trick you if you don't give us some sweets. I find that a really awkward situation. I've got a Halloween hangover.
Well, there you go. Only another 364 days until you have to do it all over again. Right, let's take a look at the Portugal Masters, because it was a remarkable performance from Jordan Smith, who went on to win rounds of 62, 67, 62, 63, got the job done, 30 under par. Steve, I know that means not much to you because you were on Gavin Green, who finished on 27 under par. I suspect if you hadn't have watched this tournament and you'd said to someone, "Oh, Gavin Green, who I tipped, finished on 27," they would have said, "Oh, how many did he win by? 6, 7, 8?" Yeah. I remember when you tipped up George Coetzee in this tournament a couple of years ago now. And I was on, and I remember sipping away on my San Miguel in a beer garden, watching him sort of saunt home. And I was thinking that I'm sure that was about 16 under, and it was. So Jordan Smith has flown away here. Gavin Green would have won this tournament on this score plenty of other years, if not every other edition of the Portugal Masters. So, I mean, we have to give credit to Smith, who's had a really good season and has done well here, but a sour pill to swallow.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This tournament's been going since 2007, and 25 under par was the previous best. Gavin Green would have won any of the previous editions. And yeah, if you were coming down from Mars, you'd never watched golf before, and then you watched last week, you'd think Jordan Smith is the best player on earth, wouldn't you? It was a fantastic performance for 4 rounds. On Sunday, he goes out with the lead, 2-shot lead, makes an eagle, 6 birdies and 11 pars. It was just so uncharacteristically ruthless. This is what was so upsetting about it. Jordan Smith has spent more than 5 years squandering winning opportunities. He's been terrible in contention. I just assumed on Sunday we were going to get more of the same. I thought the 5-2 you could get about Gavin Green on Sunday morning was absolutely massive, given how uncomfortable Smith has been with the lead in the past. But Jordan Smith didn't turn up on Sunday. It was a different man. I don't know whether he's got some new sports psychologist or something. I noticed on Saturday evening in the post-round interview, he was really downplaying the significance of winning.
He was very emotional, wasn't he?
But did you watch the Saturday evening interview? He was talking about how he's had a great season, and if he wins, he wins. Sort of icing on the cake. He was downplaying the significance of winning. He was clearly doing some sort of Jedi mind trick on himself. So I don't know whether he's got a new sports psychologist, but his putting is obviously the big change. He's got a new putter, he's got a new grip, and putts that he normally misses were going in. So yeah, all credit to Jordan Smith. Made a complete mug of me on Sunday. I was telling everyone to back Gavin Green. I fancied Gavin Green all week. I fancied Gavin Green when he was 3 shots behind on the 14th tee. You know, I still thought that drivable par 4, 15th, par 5 to come. I thought Smith will make a blunder somewhere and Green's going to get him. But then Green promptly drove into the water on the 14th, and that was the moment I stopped fancying him.
Well, what is it about Gavin Green that you like? Because I've been on him quite a lot over the past couple of years. Sometimes it's brilliant, like last week. Sometimes it's atrocious. He seems like quite a streaky golfer. Yeah.
You've got to pick your courses. That the Dom Pedro Victoria is perfect for him. He's so powerful. He's flying over all the trouble. He's a real swashbuckler, isn't he? One of my favourite words. He's a real swashbuckler, but I think he's got huge potential. Effortless power, loads of character. The putting stroke's definitely getting better, isn't it? Really efficient putting stroke now. I think he's only 28. I think Green's going to end his career with a bulging mantelpiece. He's currently world number 300, Jack. I mean, that's not right, is it? He's not world number 300. He's going to have a bulging mantelpiece. He's going to go from 300 down to he's going to be in the top 100 soon enough, I'd say.
Just a quick word on Eddie Pepperell as well. He seems to be featuring on a lot of leaderboards at the moment. An interesting character, I always think, to follow on social media. Some maybe controversial opinions thrown in there, but seems to really be enjoying his golf again. Yeah. I don't know how he manages to concentrate on his golf, because he is so active on the social media, isn't he? And he's the sort of anti-live. The anti-live representative, I suppose. I think maybe he'd be a better golfer if he got off the social media and just concentrate on the golf. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm always worse at everything when I'm on Twitter. When I used to be on Twitter, I used to find that a distraction. I think Eddie Pepperell's got plenty of ability. His iron play has been especially good lately. He's not on my radar until he sort of focuses on the day job. There you go. That was the Portugal Masters. Any others to note from that tournament, Steve?
No. I think we just keep Gavin Green on our side and we monitor Jordan Smith. It's very easy to make knee-jerk reactions. Jordan Smith now is going to be the real deal. But they didn't have much to beat in that tournament. It's a weak event. Let's see how he goes the next time he gets in the mix. I mean, I'm really pleased for him. He's a really nice bloke, isn't he? And I've mentioned before, I don't like backing nice guys. There was clearly a lot of emotion bubbling under the surface, because when he did win, and he couldn't contain him, he was just crying like a baby, wasn't he, afterwards? So, I prefer my golfers to be a little bit more nasty, and when they win, they just go, "Yeah, I was going to win," rather than crying like a baby. But we are monitoring Jordan Smith.
Yeah, well done to Jordan Smith on that success, and unlucky to all Gavin Green backers out there. A tough one to take. The Bermuda Championship was won by Seamus Power. That's his second PGA Tour title. I saw after the event, Steve, that Luke Donald was incredibly happy with how European golfers got on, both over in the Bermuda Championship, of course, in the Portugal Masters as well. It was a good week for European golf.
Very much so. Yeah, they're both candidates, aren't they? I mean, Seamus Power's got 2 PGA Tour titles under his belt now, as you say. The last one was the Barbasol Championship last year. So he's good at taking his opportunity when the big guns are away. I'm really angry with myself. He was third in the pre-tournament betting last week, 22-1. But given how well suited he is to that assignment, you could make a case for him being favourite there, because the wind was howling all week, wasn't it? And he was relishing that. The Irishman was entirely comfortable. He's an accurate player, good scrambler, good around the greens. Tidy on the green. So Power's a danger man. Whether he's good enough to get in the Ryder Cup team, I don't know. We still don't know exactly who's going to be available for that Ryder Cup team, but he's certainly certainly in the conversation.
It wasn't all easy for him on that final day, was it? I mean, he had Thomas Dietrich to hold off. Your main man going into the week, Garrick Higgo, I think that was carded the lowest final round. Was he 7 under on day 4? So there was some good scores out there, but he got it done.
Yeah. Thomas Detry is another one that sneaking into the Ryder Cup chat. I mean, that bunker shot on the last hole hold his bunker shot on the final hole to put a lot more pressure on Power. Made Power's job a lot tougher down the stretch there. Did you notice JP Fitzgerald was on the bag last week for Detry?
Okay.
JP had just been caddying for him in Europe, but last week He caddied for him in that one, and they gel really well together. I asked JP what the deal was, and he says he's doing a 3-week stint in America. So he's clearly getting tempted by the full-time job for Detry because he sees the potential there. But he's doing a 3-week stint, so he'll be there alongside him again this week, and then he hasn't decided from there whether he's going to go full-time or just stick to the European events. But they're a good combination. Detry is up to world number 85 now. World number 85. He's got a full PGA Tour card. Recently became a father, and I saw an interview with him last week where he's talking about moving to the Dominican Republic. He's thinking he's going to move his new family over to the Dominican Republic and make that his base. He's got a lot of friends out there. Things are certainly starting to happen for Detry, and we've got our eye on him. We're monitoring him. We're monitoring everyone.
No disrespect to Power or Detry. I'm going to go Detry.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable with. It's up to you.
But those that are on the fringes of the European team for the Ryder Cup just feels so far off the power that America has. I mean, the fact that these guys are in the conversation, they'd be so far down the list if they were American, wouldn't they? Yeah.
No, that's fair comment. Yeah, we're going to be up against it, whoever's in our team. If we can't pick our best players, then You know my feelings on Ryder Cup, mate. We don't need to talk about it until the week before, and even then I'll need convincing.
But overall, there's a subdued atmosphere about the Bermuda Championship for you, Steve, because as you say, it was heartbreaking in terms of the each way places, wasn't it?
Yeah, if Endicott had got a place, I would have felt validated for ignoring Seamus Power, because Seamus Power and Nick Hardy were the two I liked at the top of the market. And if Endicott had got a place, and I would have felt fine about things, but the fact he didn't made me sort of really angry with myself for not being on Seamus Power. But these are the fine margins that we play with all year round, and you've just got to dust yourself down on a Monday and go again.
Right, let's get positive. Let's go again, because I know you really enjoyed the LIV Golf last week. Let's move on. And I think you've been quite, I wouldn't say supportive, that might be the wrong word, but you've enjoyed LIV Golf from the start. And you found the winners last week, the four aces, Dustin Johnson, Reeve, Gooch and Pat Perez, who just seems to be enjoying life more than most at the moment, with his bank balance shooting up with some fairly average golf thrown in there. But it was an enjoyable tournament, according to you.
It was, yeah. I mean, I've been positive as a punter. I just look through the prism of the punter. No one cares what I think about anything else. As a punter, it's nice to have a good option, another good option, and LIV Golf provides another good option for us. There's small fields, there's chance of a winner, and without LIV Golf last week, I would have had a really, really heartbreaking week. But fortunately, four aces allowed Sunday to be tolerable. The first 2 days of that tournament were pretty tedious. I'll be perfectly frank. The first 2 days were boring, but the final day, you'd have to be the most anti-LIV Golf observer on the planet to deny that was entertaining. Yeah, that was really, really entertaining.
The mad thing is, though, Steve, I mean, it's still all broadcast through YouTube, isn't it? Which, of course, holds power. But I think, what was it, like 55,000 watching it? And you've got some of the best golfers going up against each other. I mean, the viewing figures were through the floor.
Yeah, they need to get a TV channel in. That's what their plan is for next season. They want world ranking points and they want a TV channel. It's the only way to make it viable going forward, I think. I tuned in on the phone and had Bermuda on the telly there. The combination of the two.
Yeah.
I swear, the LIV event was, the final day was really exciting because you had such a volatile leaderboard. Every shot counted. It's 16 players on the course, and every shot that those 16 players hit counted towards the leaderboard total. And it was just so volatile. And then late on in the tournament, four aces and punch had detached themselves from the other two teams that qualified for Sunday. So you had Dustin Johnson's four aces against Cameron Smith's punch. And it was so tight between those two that they were playing together in the final two, but it went down to the final two. But I mean, Greg Norman and his cronies must have been laughing their socks off because they couldn't have scripted it to be any more exciting than it was. And then Dustin Johnson. A lot of people talk about maybe they lose their sort of competitive edge, playing in LIV Golf because it's guaranteed prize money. You don't have that pressure, but there was serious pressure coming down the stretch there, and Dustin Johnson has still got it. That's what I'd like to report to anyone. As you say, not many people are watching this. Dustin Johnson was under enormous amount of pressure there, and he raised his game at the crunch, at the death.
He's been good, hasn't he, in LIV, Dustin?
He's been good, and the 18th hole at Doral is a really tough tee shot. Johnson knew it was all on the line. $16 million for the winning team, and he hit an amazing drive at 18. Cameron Smith sliced his to the right in the same situation. So Dustin Johnson made a really, really gutsy part at the last, and I think you got to keep him in mind for major competition still. Dustin Johnson is still a major performer. LIV Golf is not sort of taking that edge away.
And it seems that the same can be said about Cam Smith, who I know wasn't on the winning side this week, but still is putting up some really impressive performances.
Oh, absolutely. Really unlucky was Cameron Smith. He was 7 under par for his round on Sunday. His mate
Best
Mark
round by a long way, wasn't it?
Well, Mark Leishman had a mare. Mark Leishman had a mare, and Cam Smith was let down by his mate a little bit there. But Cam Smith on his own ball was 7 under par, so he could hold his head. He could hold his head high. But 4 aces sneaked over the line. Thank God.
Good. Would you like to go into this week's tournament? Was that a good enough therapy session for you?
Yeah. We'll talk some more light and fluffy. Light and fluffy. Yeah. I can't remember the last time I felt light and fluffy.
Right. Should we preview the Worldwide Technology Championship then, Steve?
It's a good golf tournament. I think we should.
Okay. Talk us through it. Where's it played? What can we expect? Oh, that's a fancy pint glass. Who's on that?
Oh, that's an emblem. That's sort of like a funny joke.
Is it appropriate for camera?
It's not. That's not lewd, is it? But it's not particularly. Dad got what he always wanted on his birthday. Drunk.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Good joke.
Talk us through the course. What can we expect?
It is El Camaleon, Playa del Carmen. I don't know where that pronunciation come from. You've probably been at Playa del Carmen, haven't you? You hang out in your stripy shirt.
It sounds as if this is quite thick. I think this would be a bit hot over there.
It would. Yeah, Mexico. 7,034 yards. So not a long track. Par 71, 3 par 5s. Whisper it quiet. It's a Greg Norman designed PGA Tour venue.
So Rory's not watching.
Yeah, Greg Norman design. Staged this event since 2007. Used to be a February event, and then from 2013 onwards, it was switched to the autumn. Tight, quirky, fiddly track. But if you find plenty of fairways, you can make loads of birdies. The Thursday forecast is quite stormy this week, but it's sunny and calm from there. So should get plenty of birdies. And if you look at the honours board, Jack, it just proves that accuracy is the key. Driving accuracy is the most important thing. Fred Funk, Brian Gay, Mark Wilson, John Huh, Graham McDowell, Matt Kuchar, Brendan Todd. There's a theme running through all those players, isn't it? If you drive it straight, you've got a chance of winning this.
Brilliant, and it's the only tournament we're previewing this week, isn't it, Steve? So how many selections for the sole outing?
4.
Come on, give me more than that.
4.
One more.
Right,
we must say that the market leaders look very strong. Scotty Scheffler 9-1, Victor Hovland 11s, Colin Morikawa was 16-1, Finau 18-1, Horschel 18-1. It's a strong top of the field. Is Steve Palmer going with them, or is he looking elsewhere? What's the main tip this week?
I'm not going with any of the top 3 you mentioned. The main tip is Billy boy. Okay. Billy Horschel 18-1. Such a solid player these days. A 35-year-old with 6 PGA Tour titles to his name, a former FedEx Cup winner. His last PGA Tour title came with a 4-shot victory in the Memorial in June. Really impressive in that. He's the world number 16 now. He finally fulfilled his dream of teeing up for the United States in a professional team event. He's been desperate to do that for ages. In the President's Cup in September, he finally got on an American team. He seems more content and more confident than he's ever been before. His last 3 tournaments have resulted in a top 10 finish. BMW PGA at Wentworth, Daniel Links Championship, and the CJ Cup last time out. This week he comes to a venue he absolutely loves. When he made his debut at El Camaleon in 2011, he dropped a huge hint for me that he was going to win this tournament one day. He'd missed his 10 previous cuts. Missed his 10 previous PGA Tour cuts before that event, and after that event, he missed 4 cuts in a row. Wow. So he's in an absolutely abysmal form. He's a nervous rookie. He's got no chance of success. In that Mayakoba Classic, he finished 13th. He carded 4 under par rounds. So even nervous rookie, abysmal form. He produced it at Mayakoba, and that was, I've always had that down as a huge early clue that Horschel loves this track. He didn't need to play the tournament much since. He hasn't tested my theory, but he restored it to his schedule recently. He was 8th in 2019, 5th in 2020. Yeah, I think this is a fantastic fit for Billy Horschel, and I think this the Billy Horschel story continues. He's definitely improving. I don't know how far he can go from world number 16 up, but I think he's definitely well within his compass to win this.
Yeah, he's becoming quite the player, isn't he? Billy Horschel, about 18-1. You can get out there. That's Steve Palmer's main tip. What's the next best?
Aaron Wise, sweet spot regular, 20-1. From the start of his PGA Tour career onwards, I've been banging on about Aaron Wise. I apologise. I've probably been banging on about him a bit too much, but I've always thought he's a superstar in the making. He was PGA Tour Rookie of the Year in 2018. He won his maiden title that year in fine style. It looked like he had the world at his feet, but we're still waiting for victory number 2. Surely only a matter of time. 26 years old, swing to die for, great ball striker. Putting has been the bugbear, but I think it's getting better. He's fully committed to the long putter now. He's been using it for ages. His stats this season are great. It's only 2 events, but his putting stats this season will be encouraging him. He was superb in the FedEx Cup playoffs. He narrowly missed out on a place in that President's Cup team. So in August, he was absolutely buzzing. He was a bit rusty on his return to action in the Shriners at the start of last month. But CJ Cup last time out, high-class company, great field. He was right back at it, and he finished 6th in that. And this week he comes to El Camaleon. He was 10th in 2018. He was runner-up behind Victor Hovland in 2020, 15th last year. So, yeah, there's lots to like about Aaron Wise this week.
Aaron Wise joins Billy Horschel on the list for the Worldwide Technology Championship. That's two to go, Steve. Provide us with the next tip.
Emiliano Grillo. 40-1 Emiliano Grillo. And Jordan Smith has inspired this selection in many ways, because I think Smith showed last week that we should probably not give up on anyone.
That's a nice motto for life, I think, Steve, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. Don't give up on people.
Yeah.
My patience had worn through with Smith, and similarly with Grillo. It's been a while since I've given him a chance, but these two are world-class ball strikers. Putting and temperament have been the issues with them. Smith showed last week that these issues can be resolved. Maybe Grillo can tee up at a hugely suitable venue this week and do a Jordan Smith. Grillo was 10th on his El Camaleon debut in 2016. He was 9th in 2017, 15th in 2018, 8th in 2020. So bundles of course form. He's got a great record generally on Paspalum grass venues. There's not that many of them, and Grillo plays well whenever he gets on Paspalum. We've got one this week. And he's playing really well. He was 2nd in the John Deere Classic at the start of July. He was 2nd in the 3M Open at the end of July. He was 5th in the Sanderson's Farms Championship at the start of last month. He was 4th in the Zozo Championship in the middle of last month. Playing great. Turned 30 in September. I think it's entirely feasible that he ends a long winning drought. Jordan Smith ended a 5-year winning drought last week. Emiliano Grillo is going to, it's feasible that he ends a 7-year PGA Tour victory drought on Sunday.
And as you said, Steve, earlier when we were discussing Smith, they're often very fine margins. Smith could have easily had 4 or 5 victories this season. Yeah. Probably the same for Grillo over that period as well. So he goes into the portfolio. What's the final selection for this week then, Steve?
It is Brandon Wu.
Oh,
another sweet spot regular. I'm not going to apologise for banging on about him because he's very early in his PGA Tour career. 100-1 Brandon Wu. He got off to an awful start last week when he was carrying our money in Bermuda. He opened with a 71, but he carded a Friday 64 to get back in the tournament. Had a steady weekend, finished 35th. He was 29th in the Zozo before that. Brandon Wu has settled down on the PGA Tour now. Basically from March onwards, he's looked like the player that we thought he was. He won on the Corn Ferry Tour in 2020, Corn Ferry Tour Championship. I think he's going to get off the mark on the PGA Tour pretty soon. He's only played in one previous Mayakoba. That was in 2019, but that was only his 2nd tournament as a professional. So the fact that he finished 55th in that is a positive for me. Not a bad effort. And the other attractive piece of form for Wu is 2nd place behind John Rahm in the Mexico Open in May. That event was played on another Greg Norman designed layout in Mexico, Vedanta Velata. It's also got Paspalum grass fairways and green, so very similar test to El Camaleon, just a bit longer. So yeah, Wu did well on that. I think he's going to do well this week. Yeah, I think he's a big old price.
Oh, brilliant. We'll reiterate those 4 selections at the end of the show, but you're avoiding the top 3 in the market. It was Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland and Morikawa, 9-1, 11-1 and 16-1 respectively. What was the thinking behind that?
Scheffler, I think, is no value. He's just lost that world #1 status. I think that's a significant psychological blow. The reason he's lost it is a run of mediocre putting. And there's a little bit of panic in him, I think, because he had a new putter in the bag at the CJ Cup. And Scheffler's not a player who changes equipment that often. And the new putter went in. It made no improvement whatsoever. He finished 45th in the CJ Cup, only 78 runners in it, no cut event. So yeah, Scheffler's gone off the boil, had a poor President's Cup. He's not for me. Victor Hovland is a more attractive option than Scheffler. Hovland is going for 3 Mayakoba wins in a row this week. We haven't really made much of a song and dance about that. We should probably start singing and dancing now. Which one do you want to do? You do the dancing, I'll do the singing. Victor Hovland's going for 3 in a row. Hasn't been done since 2011. Steve Stricker did it in the John Deere Classic. Were you born in 2011? 2011, Steve Stricker completed 3 in a row in the John Deere Classic. Hovland is going for it here. You've got to give him.
That was going to be a lot further back than that. It doesn't make it sound as impressive. 2011.
No, fair point. I don't know what the one
Victor.
before that was. Yeah, Tiger Woods has probably done it about 1 million times, but he's not even human, is he? But it's been a while since we've had it. I don't know. I was very, very tempted. 11-1 Hovland for me is a fair price. He's the most attractive of those 3, because all his tour wins have come on. All his PGA Tour wins have come on Paspalum grass. Puerto Rico Open was the other one. So he loves this. But do you remember Wentworth, final round of Wentworth? Did you watch that, or are you still too busy morning? That Sunday driving performance at Wentworth is fresh in my memory. You've got to drive well to win at El Camaleon. I just don't think Hovland's been consistent enough for me lately for me to weigh in at that price. And then
Morikawa, you mentioned at the start that this is, I guess most courses need some form of accuracy, but particularly with Morikawa's iron play, was he close to making the shortlist?
I respect him. It's just because he's a course debutant. I don't like backing course debutants at venues that have been around for ages. The first Mayakoba event was in 2007. I think it's a big disadvantage to turn up for your first one against players that have, know it like the back of their hand. But he should fall in love with the track. Accuracy is rewarded at El Camaleon. Maybe you need a round or 2 to settle in. But yeah, I respect. I was very tempted by Hovland. I respect Morikawa. I think Scheffler's too short.
Okay. Spin us through the 4 tips once again, Steve.
Billy Horschel, Aaron Wise, Emiliano Grillo, Brandon Wu.
There you go. There's a nice portfolio of goodness to go with this week. Steve, after you've recovered from the haunting night of Halloween, have you got a more fruitful and relaxing week ahead?
Well, the fact there's only one golf tournament will make the weekend feel a bit weird. We've had a lot of triple headers lately, haven't we? With the LIV Golf, there's been a run of LIV Golf events, so there's been a
do you like that, or do you prefer slightly more of a relaxed approach?
I like them when they're going well. But I felt a bit frazzled from last week when Gavin Green didn't win that. Because as you pointed out earlier on, it's not just what you do, is it? You can, the Gavin Green selection I think was a good one, and it's just about what other players do, isn't it? Gavin Green's not going to walk away from that beating himself up.
I mean, Steve, if we would have said to you last week when you put up Gavin Green at 45-1, whatever it was, that he'd finish on 27 under, you'd be buzzing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd assume you'd won, and this is a funny old game because it's not just about you doing well yourself. You need the other players to oblige as well. But so I'm all right. I got Weymouth versus Wimbledon on FA Cup fixture on Saturday, so I'm going to go to that. Home to Wimbledon. So if we win that, then maybe your beloved Norwich might be playing.
What's first round this weekend?
First round. Yeah. So your lot coming in round 3.
No. I think we'll be round 2.
Oh, will you? Oh, right.
I think we're not Premier League anymore. We're dropping down, aren't we? So is it round 2? I think so. Probably round 2. Maybe round 3. I don't know.
Well, I'd like to welcome Norwich City to the Bob Lucas Stadium, and then.
Well, there you go. If we get drawn to Weymouth, I'll come down and we can go for a pint of premium lager or something.
Pint of mild. Yeah. Okay. I look forward to that.
Good. There we go. Next week, we will be previewing the Ned Bank Challenge as well as the Houston Open. Really looking forward to that. I'm sure Bruce Millington will be back and relaxed and ready to go. Steve, thanks as always. And remember, if you are backing Steve's tips, remember to do so with money that you can afford to lose. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.